Have you ever experienced something so strange, so perfectly timed, that it made you stop and question, what just touched your life? Whether it was just a bizarre coincidence, or maybe, just maybe, something darker that slipped through when your guard was down? Because I've got a story like that. And to this day, I still don't know what to believe. This happened back in 2018. I remember the year clearly, because that's when Chilling Adventures of Sabrina came out on Netflix. You probably remember it too. The witch show that started off all quirky and teen drama-ish, but by the middle of the season, it was full-on satanic. And I'm not exaggerating either. Blood rituals, summoning demons, literal worship of the devil. It went dark fast. Now me and my boy Zaire, we've both grown up going to church. Real Sunday service, prayer groups, all that. So it wasn't weird for us to talk about things like demons, the devil, or spiritual warfare. We joke about it sometimes, but underneath the jokes, we both believe that evil's real. Not just in stories, real. So when I started watching Sabrina, I didn't expect it to shake me. I mean, it's just a show, right? That's what I told myself. I even rationalized watching it like, I just want to understand how this kind of stuff is portrayed. You know, for awareness, that was the lie I told myself anyway. I'd hit up Zaire after each episode and tell him all the crazy stuff that went down. Goat-headed demons, satanic chants, the whole thing. And every time I did, he'd hit me with some smart-ass comment like, yo, keep watching that satanic junk and one day you'll see the devil at your door. Or, you playing with fire, bro, you're gonna end up in hell. We'd laugh it off. I laughed it off. But deep down, I was starting to feel weird. Like I'd finish an episode and just sit there in silence looking at my screen like, why am I still watching this? I could feel it affecting me, like a heaviness in the room, like something unseen was creeping closer the more I kept watching. And here's the part that still messes with me. It was a Wednesday night. I had a lecture the next morning, so I made sure to go to bed early, around 10:30, maybe 11. I remember this because I wasn't scrolling, wasn't on TikTok or Instagram. I just passed out. But the next morning, I wake up to a text from Zaire that stopped me cold. He said, "Why would you call me at 3 a.m.? I stared at it, confused as hell. My stomach dropped. I didn't call him, so I checked my phone, and there it is. A call at 3:33 a.m. Not 3:32, not 3:34. 3:33. Now, if you've heard anything about spiritual stuff, you know what they say about 3:33 a.m. It's like the devil's mocking hour, the reverse of 3 p.m., the supposed hour of Christ's death. They call it the witching hour or the devil's hour. At first, I tried to laugh it off. I texted him back like, must have been Satan using my phone. Trying to keep it light, even though I was low-key freaking out. But then, he sent me a screenshot of the call log on his phone. And when I saw it lined up exactly 3:33 a.m., no missed seconds, I just froze, like I physically felt cold. My hands were shaking a little. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath. Zaire replied, "Told you, man. You keep watching that crap, and now the devil's calling people for you." And listen, I get it. He was joking. But I wasn't laughing anymore. I started running through every possible explanation in my head. Maybe I rolled over and tapped my AirPods weird. Maybe the white noise I was playing caused my phone to glitch. Maybe anything. I was desperate for something that made logical sense. But even then, why him? Why that time? That whole day, I had this pit in my stomach. You know that feeling when something's off, but you can't see it? Like you're being watched, but nothing's there? Later that evening, I decided to just keep going with the show. I thought, whatever. That call thing was random. Coincidence. So I put on the next episode. I remember this scene clear as day. Sabrina is standing trial with the witches for refusing to sign the Book of the Beast. The judge says if she's found guilty, her punishment would be, get this, 333 years burning in the pit of hell. I paused the show immediately. My mouth was just open. I couldn't speak. My whole body went cold again. 333? Are you kidding me? I texted Zaire again and just said, "Yup, I'm done." That was the last episode I ever watched. Too many weird things. Too many signs. You can call it superstition or paranoia, but something about that whole week felt wrong. Like I'd opened a door and something stepped through. And honestly, it hasn't fully closed. After that episode, I shut off the TV and just sat in silence. It's hard to explain the feeling unless you've been there. That stillness where even your own breathing feels too loud. I didn't move, didn't scroll, didn't turn on music. I just sat there staring into nothing, thinking, what did I just let into my life? I wish I could say that was the end of it, that I stopped watching, said a prayer, and everything went back to normal. But that night, it got worse. I remember trying to sleep, but the room felt off, like the air was heavier. You know how sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night for no reason? That happened to me around 3 a.m. No alarm, no noise, just eyes open. And I swear, I felt like something was in the room with me. Not like a person, not something I could see, but there was this pressure, like when someone stands behind you and stares, and your body just knows. I didn't turn over. I couldn't. I just lay there, still as a corpse, heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I wanted to move, to check my phone, turn on the light, anything, but I couldn't. It was like my body was locked up. Then I heard it, a soft clicking noise. Not loud, just click, 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 like fingernails tapping glass. It was coming from the window behind me. I live on the second floor. No trees near the window, no ledge, just open air and brick. I told myself it was the wind, maybe a bug, anything but what it sounded like. Click, click, click. I squeezed my eyes shut and started praying in my head. I hadn't done that in years, not seriously, but I was begging, please God, make it stop, make it go away. And after maybe 30 seconds, it did. No more clicking. The air felt lighter. My heartbeat slowed. I opened my eyes. The clock said 3:47 a.m. I grabbed my phone and just stared at the screen until sunrise. That morning, I texted Zaire everything, every detail. And he hit me back with something that gave me chills all over again. He said, bro, you're not gonna believe this. I had a dream last night. You were standing outside my house, just standing. But your eyes were black. You didn't say anything. You just stared at me through my bedroom window. I didn't even respond right away. I just sat there, reading that message over and over again, heart sinking deeper with each word. I hadn't told him anything about my night yet. No clicking, no waking up, nothing. So how does he dream that the same night I'm lying in bed, frozen, hearing tapping at my window? That's when I knew. This wasn't just a freak coincidence. Something had latched on. Whether it was from the show or the constant conversations, or just opening my mind to that kind of darkness, I don't know, but something saw me. Something knew my name. I stopped watching anything remotely dark after that. Horror, paranormal, even certain songs. I cut it all off. I even started going to church again, regularly. Not just for tradition, but for protection, because I felt like I'd cracked a door open without realizing what was waiting on the other side. And honestly, part of me still wonders if it ever really left. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll glance at my phone, and if the time is anywhere near 3:30 a.m., I don't move. I just wait, quiet, listening, hoping I don't hear that sound again. Click, click, click. That was the closest I've ever been to something supernatural, or whatever you want to call it. I still have the call log, still have the text, still have the screenshot of that 3:33 a.m. call. It's all real, and I don't need anyone to believe me, because I lived it. So yeah, maybe it was all just an insane chain of events. Maybe the human brain just connects dots and freaks itself out. But if you've ever felt that kind of fear, the kind that lives in your bones, you know when something isn't just in your head. You know when something else is in the room with you. Has anything truly unexplainable ever happened to you or someone close to you? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might become the next feature on our channel.